Hello, beautiful people. All right, before I throw some hard accusations and give you guys a lot more evidence that seems to be coming out, I want to just be clear, I'm extremely jet lagged right now. I'm in South Korea, about to compete on a game show tomorrow. I can't speak any more about it apart from there's some big names involved in it in the poker worlds. It's really, really exciting. So bear with me if I bungle my words a little bit, but I just got to say this because people have kind of stopped speaking about it over the last couple of days, especially whilst Joey's gone, taking some time to himself. Fucking salute to that warrior. He was spoken about on the Nick Fatucci show in such a negative light for what he's doing, and to me it's so fucking insane. Like it's absolutely bananas. Like, given that there is basically no possibility of legal recourse, that we can look at the Mike Apostle case where he was so obviously cheating. We had fucking dozens or hundreds of hours of him cheating, and he still didn't get taken up. There wasn't any legal repercussions for him. We have to create our own public repercussions as a community, and Joey's doing that so well. He's allowing the information to come out. He's allowing people to give their piece like you would in court, and then he's allowing the court of public opinion to be like, okay, this is what I think is true. And if somebody's reputation should be marred, then he's allowing them to mar it. So I think he's doing an incredible job. And I was genuinely a little bit offended. Not that being offended fucking means anything, but when people were speaking about when Nick was speaking about Joey and the way that he's been handling this, I really think Joey's just been doing a fucking amazing job. So, some new evidence has been coming out. There is a lot of signaling going on the table in Hustler Casino. Now, I don't have my editor with me, and I'm in Korea, so I can't add in the footage. But go look on my Twitter and go look at the threads where I first started with the dealer. And I'm not throwing any hard accusations at the dealer, but I'm not doing it either. You have to. I'm not saying she's completely clear either, because you really have to look at this objectively and say, even if somebody has a really clear and pristine record, you really have to scrutinize what's going on. There was a situation where the hand was going down, the Jack 4 hand is going down, and Robbi says something along the lines of, I'm going to scratch my face again because that's the shit I got. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Doesn't make any sense. And I was thinking, well, if I were creating some kind of system of signals, that would be like the first one I think about. You'd be like coughing and this or whatever it is. Obviously, by itself doesn't mean anything, but something to pay attention to. Then it pans out to the dealer, and the dealer's hand is like this, and then it goes like this. And I've never seen a dealer's hand do that, and there were multiple dealers on the thread being like this. I've never seen anyone do that either. It could be something. It could be just like a tick. It was so purposeful. Go check it out yourself and tell me what you think. Again, don't want to throw the dealer, her name's Lauren, under the bus at all. It genuinely could be completely inconspicuous. But then you look at Eric Pearson, and at some point in the hand, he's also on his arm doing this. And Robbi's like looking at it, sees it, looks away, and then calls the most ludicrous call I've ever seen in the millions and millions of hands that I've ever played poker with. Just putting out there, that is evidence that you need to analyze. It's just maybe another coincidence, but when you pile it on top of the coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, this is where Bayesian probabilistic thinking comes into play. This is where something in science you call consilience. If you're looking at a hypothesis or a theory, you'd have multiple different theories all combining and pointing in one direction. For instance, with the Big Bang Theory, you have, A, B, C, D, all saying that the Big Bang probably happened. So we have a very large percentage certainty that the Big Bang happened based on all of these different evidences pointing in the same direction, even though one by itself wouldn't be a smoking gun. So we have the coincidence of the hand itself, base rate, perhaps even there's like a 40% chance that she was cheating just based on that. We have the coincidence that Brian took 15K off the table, said that he didn't know which stack it was coming off, but happened to just be Robbi's stack. Very, very fucking sketchy there. The coincidence that Brian and Robbi were following each other on Twitter. Again, Brian's not a big name in the poker community. They said they didn't know each other, but she just happened to be following him. The coincidence that he apparently, ostensibly, wrote her a letter saying that Garrett's a crybaby, not that he would have any incentive to say that, and saying that she owned him, and saying that thank you so much for being my Lord and Savior, Robbi. And it happened to be in exactly the same grammatical style, and like writing style that Robbi speaks in, with some very, very specific tells that you just almost never come across. Again, another coincidence that Brian would happen to be sitting in a place that he could see the whole cards, and then happened to like move in something in front so the cameras couldn't see him so well just before it happened. Again, another fucking coincidence. Another coincidence that she said she was going to take a lie detector test, and apparently that's not happening at the moment. Or it's a fucking, there's loads and loads and loads of things, and I'm sure there's multiple more that I could list on top of that. Fucking jet lagged at the moment, bear with me. The point is that every single time one of these things comes out, it's higher and higher and higher probability that there's some nefarious things going on. And if there weren't nefarious things going on, what you would expect in that reality is that there are no more coincidences that pop up. Maybe like one more coincidence that's like, okay, that was like a 30-to-1 coincidence, but that can happen. But when it's like 6 30-to-1 coincidences in a row, and we have that mixed with somebody that's shown to just change their story all the fucking time, has shown to be a liar, like genuinely just outright lied about, oh, I thought I had that, or I didn't think I had that, or I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I didn't know him, and there's so many things that are just changing and changing and changing and changing. I think we have a pattern of somebody that is a compulsive liar, and that is the type of person, again, it could be a coincidence, but that is the type of person that would cheat. She also happens to be not knowledgeable enough at poker to know that Jack 4 is such an insane hand that if you got signaled that you have the best hand or something like that, or that you're going to win the hand, or however it's done, it could be multiple different ways of cheating. Then if you're stupid enough, if not stupid enough, but if you're not knowledgeable enough at poker to be able to like discard that signal and say, okay, I'll wait for a better spot to cheat, definitely possible. So I think there needs to be a real investigation into whether there have been more signals in the past, whether there have been more times where people have been doing this. And there was another one where someone was doing this across their face. I think it was, is his name Rip? It's not. I keep forgetting that guy's name. So in general, I think that people kind of at the moment suck at probabilistic thinking. A lot of you out there really did get it pretty quickly. So I don't mean everybody, but some pretty big names in the poker worlds aren't getting it. And I think it's just about time we call a spade and say this is fucking allegedly, so I don't get sued, but this is alleged. I'm not even gonna say it. This is cheating. And I'm not gonna censor it. This is cheating. She cheated. I'm saying that with certainty. This is a scandal. This is cheating. And Garrett was right, and people harassed him. Hundreds of thousands of people harassed him. They treated him unkindly. They said horrible things about him. And it turns out he was just a guy getting cheated that stood up for himself and then fucking donated $130K to charity. Not that anyone else out there would do it. Handled it still very well, in my opinion. Perhaps not perfectly. Perhaps he shouldn't have come out straight away and said 100%. But perhaps he just had this gut feeling and maybe some information about how she'd been playing over time and how exactly ludicrous it was for her to take that stand. Perhaps saying 100% was more reasonable than we think it was. Who knows? I don't think we need to scrutinize and discard the good because it's not perfect, So I think that as the poker community, we need to be able to analyze data. We need to be able to look at things and say like, okay, it's basically clear cut at this point, and now need to look at more information that will come out, I'm sure, and that has come out, and say that, okay, let's see if there are any more signals, let's see if there are any other ways, let's try and genuinely figure out exactly how it would have been able to be done, because at the moment there's some pretty limp hypotheses, and we're still getting caught up in the like, oh, did she, didn't she debate, and I feel like it's just really clear cut at this point, and it's very hard to have a conversation when you're like, okay, I'm 99% certain or 98% certain, but of course there's always a percent chance that she didn't. Obviously that's still the case. You can't be 100% certain about anything, but at some point you need to move past that debate and talk about, okay, how did this happen? So always remember, we need to keep a lot of empathy and a lot of love to everybody involved here, and I mean including the people that cheated. Somebody that cheats, like I used to steal off people when I played old school RuneScape back in the day. I used to fucking cheat people. That was who I was. I was a fucking scammer. Sorry, cool. And that was because I got taught that cheating was okay when I was a kid. I got taught that lying was okay when I was a kid. I grew up in an environment where that was the case. And obviously, the older you get, the more chance you have to kind of rectify the conditioning that you have but not everybody's conscious enough or in a place in their life where it's possible to do that. And the best way that we can help prevent cheating in the future is, first of all, make sure that there is punishment for those that have cheated. And I think Joey's doing a great job. I think everybody speaking about it is doing a great job. And second of all, have love and compassion for the people that have done it. So if you look at like the Denmark prison system versus the American one, you get love and compassion for the Danish, and they have like a 20% what's the word, starts with resilience rate or something like that, where they commit another crime. America's the complete polar opposite, the most harsh punishments you can possibly get, and they have an 80% resilience rate. So it's been scientifically proven in many points that love and compassion is the best way. Not that I care about scientifically proven these spots, but love and compassion is the best way of helping people through these spots. But at the same time, you have to be strong. You have to be able to set boundaries. And as a community, we need to say, like, this is absolutely outrageous, and we need to make sure this never happens again. And we need to stop having these silly debates about these like potential 0.5% or 1% or 2% that it might not have been the case. So I'm feeling a little bit fired, probably because I'm so fired up right now, because I'm a little bit jet lagged. But I really do want to hammer home the point that it's still so important to be loving and empathetic towards everybody. And it's the only way we're going to move towards a better world. You know, if you start thinking that you're wise enough to discern who's worthy of your love, who's worthy of your kindness, you're putting yourself in the position of some kind of fucking omnipotent God, omniscient God. You know, you're putting yourself in the position where you think that, oh, I'm so wise that I can decide who's worthy of kindness. Like, where's the line? You know, you could have a fucking Buddhist monk that barely has any vices look at you and say, well, you're not worthy of kindness because you still eat factory farm meat, or whatever it is. You know, whatever it is, you still sneer at your girlfriend when you know, whatever. So let's try and not draw arbitrary lines between who deserves kindness and who doesn't, but at the same time, let's call a spade a spade. She cheated. And yeah, I think there needs to be a lot of apologies towards Garrett. There needs to be probably still a lot of apologies towards Doug. And yeah, I think as a community, we need to just say, like, this is pretty clear cut. Let's obviously wait for the evidence to come out. If there is somehow some kind of black swan event that shows that actually this is all a huge coincidence, although I can't imagine that ever being the case, but if that did potentially happen, we have to be open to it. But at this point, I'm just throwing it out that she cheated. And I don't know enough about libel and how easy it is to sue cross continents. Pretty sure it's not the easiest thing to do, but if it happens, fucking so be it. I'm done censoring my speech. I'm done saying, well, allegedly, and this and this and that. Much love, beautiful people. I'm actually in a really good place right now. My fiancée, Hannah, and she's now bearing my child to be. She's 3 months pregnant, and hopefully I get to see her really soon. She's kind of stuck in America at the moment trying to sort out visa stuff. But it's one of the most exciting times of my life. Maybe the most exciting time of my life, watching her bump grow and grow and grow. It's the fucking coolest thing in the world. And I'm going to be a papa. So I wanted to share it with you just for a little bit of authenticity, vulnerability, and realness, so we can get past this layer of robotic interactions that we get on the internet. Much love. I hope you can forgive the jet lag speech. Peace.